This is the social media talk, and so because of that, one of the things is there's a number of things that we've kind of embedded into the talk, and this is one of them. I wanted to share some of my favorite videos. So when it comes to social media, one of the things that I really like is this thing called YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of it, but so people have their favorite YouTube videos. This is one of the things that I can go down this rabbit hole and be here forever. When you have things like this, it's just awesome.
Making ladders out of cowboys.
Oh yeah. You think that's good? Check out the elephant.
While we're counting stars, they're counting sheep. Peter, all the rest don't make a sound. Just keep running and keep running and keep running. In our heads we're 10 feet off the ground. Just keep running and keep running, keep running.
Watch the guy sitting down. Look at the guy sitting down. He is not having it. Okay, now you think that's decent, and so what you have is you think like, this is awesome, I think I could do the same thing. Sometimes people film themselves thinking they can do the exact same thing as what we saw in those videos, and this is how it turns out.
You want me to show you tough? I'll show you tough. Hey! 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 I never lose. I hope you like pain. You okay? Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
You guys are gonna like this.
You guys are gonna like this one. You guys want to see something? What kind of wood is this?
I love that he says, "What kind of wood is this?" And he's kicking it. Oh my gosh. You guys, there's so many incredible things. The last one, just for the moment right now, there's gonna be more, but the last is setup is for this guy is just, we're gonna keep watching it. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is this couple that's dating, and they have this rope swing on this cavern.
Honey, I don't want to do it.
Put the 2 hands on the rope. You know I love you, right?
Oh, please don't push me off. Please don't.
I am not. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm not gonna push you. I'm not gonna push you. But if you stand here for more than 10 more seconds, I will. 3, 2.
Honey! I'm breaking up with you!
What'd she say? I just got dumped.
Was it worth it?
It will be worth it. Someday she'll thank me.
So can I have her number?
When she becomes YouTube famous, someday she'll thank him. You know, when it comes to YouTube, obviously, I want to go through some stats. And now, I know that talking to you all about social media, someone told me this. They said, talking to young people about social media, it's like talking to native English speakers about the English language. Like, there's stuff that you're like, yeah, we know. So YouTube has a lot of videos. Okay, tell me something I don't know. Okay, well, you might not know that Facebook has a lot of active visitors. Yeah, we knew that too. Well, you might not know that Twitter is really busy. Okay, you know that as well, right? Do you know all these things? You know how widely used social media can be, and it's awesome, right? Actually, here's a quick question for all y'all. Who here uses Instagram? Did you know? Yeah, good job. Do you know there are 95 million, I think I came across this, that it was actually a B instead of an M, photos shared daily on Instagram. How many people use Snapchat? Okay, how many people have a Twitter? Okay, here's a quick question. I need to see them really high, because this is one of the things. How many of you all have still actively used Facebook? Okay. How many of you have a Facebook that you don't use anymore? Okay, all right, good to know. Now, of course, one of the things we have is not just these statistics that Twitter's really big, Instagram's really big, Snapchat's really big. We know all of this already. One of the things that you might not know is that there's been a study that the average young person touches their phone or checks their phone over 150 times per day. 150 times per day, which is not a bad thing, but if you were to add up all the snaps in a single day, it would take you 793 years to watch all of the snaps in one day. That's one day, 793 years to watch the snaps in one day. We are massive when it comes to getting involved with social media. Obviously, this is talking to English speakers about the English language. It's not going to be a surprise at all. Here's what Pope Francis said about communication, though. Pope Francis says, communication, wherever and however it takes place, has opened up broader horizons for many people. For example, I'm friends with Annie, and I'm friends with Matt, friends with Leah, friends with Cooper. I don't get to see them very often because we all live in different states. But I know exactly what's going on in their lives a lot of times because I follow them on, various forms of communication, various forms of social media. So I know what's going on in people's lives, and it's a really good thing because we actually can stay connected even though we're far apart. So again, as Pope Francis said, it's opened up broader horizons for many people. I will get emails from people in Dubai. I'll get emails from people in Yemen. I'll get emails from people where they live, it's illegal to be a follower of Jesus. And they say, because of various YouTube things or podcasts that we have out there, they can get fed by Jesus Christ because of social media. So again, it's opened up broader ways of communication. He goes on, he says, this is a gift of God. Pope Francis, next time your parents say, get off social media, say that Pope Francis said it's a gift of God. But then when they say, no, I'm serious, then you can be reminded of the fact that he said it's a gift of God, but it's also a great responsibility. It involves great responsibility. I know someone here is a Spider-Man fan. Okay. What does Uncle Ben tell Peter? There was no hesitation. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of all of you. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the thing. Now, here's the thing. We can use the great power. We can use the great power, the great gift that Pope Francis says. It is a gift of God. We can use this great gift of God to become something like consumers, or we can become something greater. And it involves a great responsibility. And he says, I like to refer to this power of communication as closeness. That you can not just consume, you can actually be part of something that's even bigger. But the question, of course, comes up.
I want to post about how
How are
great
we
this
gonna use
coffee is,
social
but
media?
I can't think of a funny way to say it.
This post is like a page long. How do I shorten this?
Just take out all the vowels.
No.
Still be like
Seriously.
a page.
Dude, you gonna eat those or just take pictures?
Who's the cutest baby on the internet?
Is this guy always on vacation?
Costa Rica vacay.
Do you just like my post about my uncle dying?
Office pic.
No.
Hold still. I'm vining you.
Why are you Instagramming lamps?
How did he get so many followers? He's a dentist.
Hey guys, you on Twitter? Follow me. We just got 2 retweets.
Sometimes I want to move to another country where I wouldn't have to deal with this stuff.
Isso faz parecer que eu tô me achando?
Hashtag photo of the day.
Hashtag I quit. Just kidding.
Hashtag multitasking.
Hashtag squirmworm.
Hashtag road trip dudes. Not while you're driving, man.
Hashtag YOLOI.
Is anybody even gonna read this?
Bestie.
Coffee friends. Mini bagels.
Unsubscribe.
What's up, Facebook?
Oh, look at my new shoes. Unfollow.
I love coffee.
We're going viral.
I don't care about your dog. I don't care about your lunch.
Meu Archie.
Nobody cares about your tree pics.
Driving selfie.
Glaciers.
Desert.
Third world.
Nobody cares.
I'm gonna hide all of you.
Dude, I made the popular page.
And that's the thing, we get to this point where what happens is we start watching, we start ingesting, we start taking this, and at some point, I don't know if you've ever gotten to the place where someone is posting something, tweeting something, putting something out there, and you say the words that they said in this video. Nobody cares. Because oftentimes we feel like that. We feel like, well, nobody cares. Nobody cares about what? Nobody cares about what I'm looking for. The question we have to ask when it comes to social media is, how are we using the platform? Like, what am I looking for? The question is, am I looking for affirmation? So often, again, we're gonna talk about some of the harder parts of social media right away, right? Some of the more kind of like the wormholes and the traps people can fall into. One of the traps we can fall into is we look to social media for affirmation. And I'm gonna talk about the game in a second, but we all know about the game of social media, of like, I know people who will say that they will wait to post until they know that their friends are no longer in class, no longer at sports, because then they get more likes. And when that happens, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for someone to I don't want to just share knowledge, I don't want to just share information. I want to get some affirmation. Another thing we look for distraction. And that's one of the reasons why there have been massive studies on a national scale that people feel more anxiety over not having their phone near them than almost any other common everyday situation. Because we just need this distraction. What am I looking for? Well, I'm in the line right now, I better get distracted. I'm on the toilet right now, I need to be distracted. I can't just focus on one thing. I need to use my time to update my status. What am I looking for? I'm looking for consumption, I just want more. A lot of times we're looking for fame. Now, there's some people who will actually even say that. They'll say like, I want to be Instagram famous, or I want to be YouTube famous, or I want to be Twitter famous. I want to have I want to get a viral video. Am I looking for fame online? Because if I am, what we need to do is take a beat and go back. You all know Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey once said this. Jim Carrey said, I wish everyone could experience being rich and famous, so they'd see that it wasn't the answer to anything. Let's highlight that. Jim Carrey, who is very rich and very famous, says, I wish everyone could find themselves rich and famous, and they would discover that it's not the answer to anything. Because what it ends up doing is it just ends up making that hole in our hearts even bigger. This is so important. No, you might not believe me, but you might believe this girl. This girl named Isenna O'Neill. I don't know if any of you know who Isenna O'Neill is, but she was what they call Instagram famous. She started Instagramming as a 15-year-old Australian, and as a beautiful young girl, she started posting all these photos for her. She got over 500,000 followers who would retweet or they would like her Instagram posts hundreds of thousands of times a day. And at the time she turned 18, only like 3 years after she became Instagram famous, she said with a a modeling deal with all these followers, with all these people wanting to know what's the next thing Isenna O'Neill is going to do. She said, I just have to get out. And she actually published a video of herself saying she's leaving the whole thing. That's 17 minutes long. Here's a 2-minute clip of Isenna O'Neill describing why she left the life of fame and wealth.
Taking myself off social media is a wake-up call to anyone and everyone who follows me. I had the dream life. I had 500,000 people interested in me on social media, on Instagram, sorry. I had over 100,000 views on most of my videos on YouTube. To a lot of people, I made it. I was signed with, I still am technically signed with, and I don't want to model at all anymore, but I'm signed with one of the biggest agencies in Australia. I had one of the biggest agencies in America want to sign me for modeling and for my YouTube. I had messages and messages of big companies, brands, sponsorships on my hands, and I was in LA and I was at a pinnacle of success in what I thought it was. Everything I did was for views, for likes, for followers. I did shoots for like hours just to get photos for Instagram. I would meet up with people and talk and connect, whatever, but just make photos for Instagram. I was miserable. I had it all, and I was miserable, because when you let yourself be defined by numbers, you let yourself be defined by something that is not pure, that is not real. What I'm doing here is a statement that real life isn't through screens, that yes, you can get social. I'm not against social sharing, I'm against the current status of social media. And I have everything to lose by doing this. But majority of people watching this that don't have a career on social media, you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. There are people around you. Go do things that you love to do in the real world. Volunteer, help out somewhere, go to an animal shelter, go to a cafe and just sit and meet people, go on a bus. There are people around you. You can go outside and meet people and feel connected. You don't need to prove your value on social media.
So that's Isenna O'Neill, who says, like, the fame is not enough. Now, here's the thing, is like not a lot of us, or not maybe any of us, are gonna get to the point where our Snapchat is gonna become super famous. So one of my nieces texted me a little while back, and her parents didn't want her to have Snapchat at her age. And she said, so my mom and dad said I could ask you about what's the pros and cons about Snapchat. What do you think I should do, Uncle Father Mike? And so I was like, oh, I don't know what to say. So what I did is I polled all my college students on campus, and said, because they all have their Snap stories, they all have Snapchat, they're ready to go, they're ready to dive in. I said, okay, if my niece is this old, what should I tell her about Snapchat? Let's start with the pros. And one of the things they said is like, you feel connected, just like she was saying. That when you have friends and you want to share a photo to your friends, that it's a great thing to do. Have a little video and send it off to someone that you know, that you care about, that you know is going to respond to you. They said that's super good. Also, they said there's such a thing as the game that everyone plays on social media. You guys know, y'all know the game. Ladies, girls, you know the game. If you post something on any one of those platforms, or how about this? If one of your friends posts a picture of themselves on any one of those platforms, what is your job? You not only need to like it, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, I'm totally jelly of you. Look at your hair, it's so awesome. And then what happens is what do you expect? If you wrote to them and said, you're so pretty, what do they have to do? No, you are. Like, aw, thank you. It's the game, and you all know we have to play it. And that part of the game is, okay, here we are in school. Maybe you can't use the social media during school. So after school, this is how we stay connected, particularly before you can drive. So this is how we stay connected. And so if they said, well, if your niece isn't on social media, she might have friends that leave her in the dirt, that leave her in the past, that say just like, yeah, you're not connected with us outside school, so during school, you're not in our world anymore. In fact, I have another niece. This is crazy. I have another niece who at one point she came up to, they live in North Carolina, and they came up to visit, I knew that was gonna be something right here. Go, Tar Heels. So they came up, their whole family came up to visit my parents for 2 weeks in the summer when she was 15 years old. And she was super stressed out because she said, if I can't be in contact with my friends, they're gonna leave me. If I can't constantly be on my phone with them, they're not going to be friends of mine anymore. And my parents, you know, the old grandparents are like, that's not true. Like, people don't actually do that. When she got back to North Carolina, only one friend was willing to spend time with her. That in 2 weeks, because she was distanced from them by geography and because she wasn't active on social media, her friends is like, no, you're not in our world anymore. That's the definition of a bad friend. That's what a bad friend is. But we know this is part of the game. And you might not be a Senna O'Neill. You might not say, I'm not going to become Instagram famous. I'm not going to become, you know, if there's such a thing as Snapchat famous, I'm not going to become famous. But I do need to be in the lives of my friends. But it's just a game. And it can be a game that actually has incredible extremes. You have things like the Oscar selfie, right? Which is very famous. It blew up the internet. All these beautiful people in one photo. It was awesome. Look at those eyes. Gorgeous. Then you have things that are a little more dangerous. What's most dangerous about this photo is she's on the wrong side of the car. But then you have things that are just like, are you serious? Have we lost any sense of the moment? Have we lost any sense of like, okay, I understand you're all beautiful Oscar-nominated people. Like, take a picture of yourselves, please, and share it with the world. You're gorgeous. I kind of understand like maybe she's parked. Who knows? I don't know. But sometimes we lose all context and realize I'm not concerned with the people in front of me. I'm more concerned, or what's going on around me. I'm more concerned with taking a selfie at somewhere like, I don't know, someone's funeral. True story. No, we can lose any sense of moment, and we can be drawn to the extremes. And in that extreme, we can find ourselves, maybe you've done this again. I may be talking to people who are like, yeah, totally, I've drank the Kool-Aid. I know all about this. We can be tempted to portray a false image. But the worst part about portraying a false image is when you don't realize you're doing it. When you don't realize you're doing it, because when I look at everyone else's Facebook status, when I look at everyone else's Instagram photos, Senna O'Neill is a great example. She said that what looked like her, like someone caught her off guard, she would take hours to stage that photo. That it just looked like, oh, you caught me having a Diet Coke. She said, no, I was setting that photo up for 3 hours and took 1,000 shots, and that's the one that I liked. And so you all look at that and say, wow, it's so beautiful. What a life. It's amazing. You're looking at someone's highlight reel. And what we're doing is when we're online, we're comparing someone else's highlight reel to our real life. Of course it's going to look better. That's why people have such a thing as Facebook depression. Such a thing as when you go online and you see everyone else's highlight reel, you realize, man, my life is not that. All these people are on vacation, and my vacations are like, go to the backyard and put my foot in the little like tub that I have out there, the kiddie pool. The highlight reel versus real life is a real thing. And this whole idea of social media depression is a real thing. And the question is, why would I do that? Why would I have a social media self, an internet self, and then a real self?
I know, it's so insane.
There's nothing better than this, right?
This is the greatest.
Unbelievable. Look at this.
I can't believe I...
Madison Marie, will you marry me?
Oh, babe. Wait, you hired a photographer, right?
Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
I am so sorry. Do you mind actually coming a little bit closer? I don't know if it's gonna share that well, if it's like so far back.
Madison Marie, will you marry me?
This is still from the back. Do you mind if we just switch spots so that the camera's...
Madison Marie, will you marry me?
Oh, my hair's up and I didn't realize. Do you mind if you scoot back so we get the skyline in the background?
Madison Marie?
Cut. Sorry, I don't like my middle name. Can I take a look at that? I just want to see if it's... I wanted this to be a surprise, but at least you could have given me a hint. I don't look good in any of these. Okay. I'm sweating right now, and this can't be good for my complexion.
What are you talking about?
The lighting is like really harsh. I probably look like a Picasso painting.
It's...
Cloud-wise, what are you thinking? More? Yeah.
See, when you turn around, is
Right.
it already going to be open?
Yes.
Madison Marie.
I'm already wearing it.
Oh, wait, all right, take it.
Okay.
Give me the ring back, and then we'll start from the top.
Okay. I read a blog, the perfect time for engagements is like 5 to 5:30.
I'm trying to do something fun for you, and you ruin it.
Ruin?
Every...
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
I
let's
don't
try
know
it.
if I can even do this anymore.
All right, here we go. Well, you're gonna be turned around
You're right.
anyway, so I'll just
You're
start
right.
on my knee. Everyone
Thank
start on my
you.
knee.
You got a double chin in this one? Switching things up, we're gonna have camera guy here, sound guy right here, John, continuity's sake, right knee. I'm gonna go left hand. It's gonna be bigger, right? Can you Photoshop that? As soon as he opens the box, we're gonna have a sweeping zoom motion and then coming all the way up, revealing the beautiful skyline. I'm going to say yes, and it's gonna be great. All right, from top. So then I'm gonna either go here or here. What do you think?
Okay, how about...
Or we could go this way.
I feel like no one sees me, though, because my face is pointed
That's fine.
out.
No one needs to see your face. Say it a little bit more like you believe in it.
Like, do it. How would I say it?
Marrying you would be #relationship goals.
Who says that?
You will! Rolling! I just want it to be like how they do it in the movies. I don't know, I'm just not feeling the production value.
Production? What do you want from this?
I don't know, first thing that comes to my mind, La La Land.
They didn't even get married!
Spoiler alert!
Cut. Madison's engagement. Take 43.
Great, hurry, first positions. Put that somewhere.
First positions? What?
Babe, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at all these likes.
So this is the kind of thing is that we're looking at someone's highlight reel versus real life. And we can find ourselves doing is we find ourselves, again, sometimes not even realizing that the person we are online is not the same person we are in real life. And this is one of these videos I want to set up. We can find ourselves in a dual identity. Now, Anderson Cooper is a guy who's on TV a lot. And Anderson Cooper did this documentary called Being 13. What he did in the documentary Being 13 is he, with permission of the kids and permission of their parents, he tracked all their devices. They monitored their entire social media presence on their laptops, on their cell phones, on whatever kind of device they had. And after a long time of gathering all this information, over 200 13-year-olds, he gathers 8 of them in this studio, and he asks them the question about, like, are you in real life the person you are online? What I invite you to point out, or to notice in this, is that at first, the people who were being talked to are like, yeah, of course, I am exactly the same person I am online as I am in real life. And is that true?
It's what gossip is, and everyone does it.
Beyond gossip, some of the teens admitted the pressure to fit in, to be popular, makes them act like an entirely different person online, saying and doing things they'd never do in the real world.
I've read a lot of your postings. The people you are face-to-face seems a lot different than the people you seem to be on social media. Do you think that's true?
Yeah,
Depends on the person.
that's most people, but to me, like, all my friends know that I'm the same either way. Yeah.
Jonathan, you think you're the same in real life as you are on social media?
Yes.
Yeah, he really is.
Despite what he says, the affable and respectful Jonathan in the real world seems to totally contradict Jonathan in the virtual world.
A couple of posts of yours that some of them pretty sexually explicit, use a lot of profanity. Somebody else posted a photo that I want to show, and you reposted and made a comment, said, "Let me hit." You posted a photo that's very graphic that I can't put on television. You said, "Most of these Rodney Thompson, Middlebrook, God."
Oh, I found that,
yeah.
On a repost on Twitter, I found that on there and I posted it on Instagram.
Yeah. Do you worry about some of the stuff you put out, or?
Yeah, but at one point, I wasn't really using it, and people would tell me, you got to make your Instagram, like, useful or funny, so at one point I was like, okay, I could try. So I took like a couple of days to figure out what to do and how to set it up.
Do you worry about that? You saying, "Let me hit it."
Well, I was just playing around. I don't mess with drugs and whatever.
Because that was one of 7 weed posts. So, I guess it gets to the earlier question about presenting yourself on social media as different than you are in real life. I'm not picking on Jonathan here, because a lot of you and a lot of the 200 kids we talk to, the way you all talk is very different than the way you talk, either certainly to adults, but even just listening to you in the green room, the way you talk to each other. It seems like sometimes you adopt a persona maybe that's tougher on social media than it is in real life.
Yeah.
Every day is just about social media and how you and how people see you. So basically, you can be the most quietest kid in the back of the class, no friends, anything. As soon as you get home, you can go on the computer to Facebook and start doing whatever you want, and then you can have like 15K followers.
15,000 followers.
Yeah.
So you can create an identity that's different than maybe who you really are.
Yeah, you're just like a double, like for example, you're like a double agent or whatever. You have one side of life, and then you have another one.
Now, this kind of idea, how many of you say that you've posted something online that you probably would never say to someone face to face? 3 of you are honest. That's wonderful. Because that's the truth, is that so many people go online and they say things online that they would never say face to face to someone else. And what happens is there's this attitude of comparison, right? This attitude of comparison that someone else's life is better than mine. I have to act this way. Here's what Aristotle once said about comparisons. He says comparisons are odious. Know what the word odious means? It means they stink, that there's nothing good about comparisons. And yet at the same time, we can find ourselves going to these extremes. And the extremes on social media, again, I want to caution you only because of the fact that sometimes people can go to extremes and we think this is the extreme. I don't know who these people are. They're from Minnesota, in northwestern Minnesota. This name is Pedro Ruiz. Her name is Mona Lisa Perez. They have a 3-year-old. And in this picture, Mona Lisa is pregnant with their second child. At this point in this photo, just taken this last summer, Mona Lisa is 19. Pedro was 21. They have a YouTube channel, and this is the day before Pedro died. They're at the county fair in Minnesota, walking around, and this is at this point they're filming, and Mona Lisa looks at Pedro as they're walking through the county fair, and she says, "Babe, like if we make it big, we can have over 300,000 followers." And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a party for the whole town. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be super famous." Now, we might think that's the extreme. What happened was the next day, they had this stunt where she took a Desert Eagle revolver. He held up a book in front of his chest, and she shot the book thinking that the book would stop the bullet. It went through the book and killed 21-year-old father of her 3-year-old child and her unborn child. Now here's the thing, we think that's the extreme. I don't think any of you are in danger of doing that extreme. I don't think anyone here in this room is in danger of doing something that stupid, but we are all in danger of doing something this stupid. Their YouTube page with that video, not the video of her shooting, but the video of the day before where they're walking around the county fair, we're gonna be famous. Well, someone wrote in, "You're famous now." Well said. Someone else said, "I just subscribed, can't wait for more content." It's been a week already, where's part 2? They know he's dead. They know she shot him. This is comments. People, now I can imagine Jose Vasquez wouldn't walk up to Mona Lisa and say, "Hey, I just subscribed. Well, there's more content." But online I can say this, "Hey, how come you guys haven't uploaded all week?" "So I hear you're single now." And even this gal, Keela, I'll laugh out loud. She privates her Instagram, but she can't delete the channel. Ha ha ha. Can you imagine? This 19-year-old girl who's now killed the father of her 2 children is in jail. And here's this other girl goes on like, "Oh, she's so thrashed, like she can private her Instagram, but she can't take down the YouTube." Hey, at least it was the first YouTube prank that wasn't fake. The last one, Pedro have a lot of dedication. Again, now this is the extreme I'm talking about. That dual identity. No, you're probably not gonna go out and have a stunt like that that'll endanger someone's life. But could any of us post something online? I hate comm boxes so much, you guys. It's like the most evil part of the internet. And the whole thing, this whole social media stuff, this is gonna be a battle. It's a battle for your mind. Why? I'm gonna go quickly on this. It's a battle for your mind in a number of ways. One is because we have the danger of becoming screen zombies. Danger of becoming people who actually don't like people as much as we like things or the ideas of people. J.P. Sears, how many know J.P. Sears? Ultra spiritual life, here's what he has to say about it. The law of exposure. The law of exposure is what you think about, what you expose yourself to is what you think about. So the media I consume is the media in my mind. The images that I take in are the images I think about. The words that I hear said are the words I end up saying. That's the law of exposure. So question, what app do you use the most? That's the one you expose yourself to the most. I'm not saying don't. All I'm saying is, well, look at your lock screen. Look at your home screen. What's on your home screen? Could it be the simple picture of water? On mine, it's a picture of a boat on the Sea of Galilee that I took when I was in Israel. I love it, and it's so great. But here's some other places. You can go to CassiePeasDesigns.com. She has these images that she's made that are made to be put on your home screen. You touch your phone 150 times a day. Wouldn't it be worth it to have like an image on your home screen that reminds you of Jesus? It reminds you, I love this image of Mother Teresa and the big words that stand out. God is in love with you. Imagine if you heard 150 times a day, God is in love with you. God is in love with you. How much that would change your mind and change your heart. God is in love with you. No one in the world can change the truth. Again, especially when you feel attacked. The battle for your mind is real. I'd invite you to take this small step of actually intentionally changing your home screen to be something that reminds you of the truth of life, that God is in love with you, that no one in the world can change truth. Question. When it comes to your Instagram, when it comes to your Twitter, when it comes to all these things, who do you follow? For me, I follow basically three kinds of people. I follow former students, I follow friends who I love, and I follow people who will give me good content. People who will give me good content, people who tweet good articles. Those are the three people I follow. People that I love, that I know personally, and people who will tweet good content. So what's some good content? Oh, what about the Steubenville conferences? To follow at GoToSteubenville would be a fantastic group to follow on Twitter. Another one, at LifeTeen, is pretty much phenomenal. They have great blogs for teens. They have great blogs for college students. It's super good. Blessed is She. How many girls are fans of Blessed is She? So good. You guys, these are young women and also some experienced women who write awesome articles on Blessed is She, that if you wonder, how do I become a young woman walking through this world? Those are the kind of people to follow. There's this thing called Ascension Press, but whatever. It's not a big deal. But there might be some good content on that as well. There's this guy, his name is the Pope, he's Pope Francis at Pontifex. Every single day, he has at least one inspirational quote that he puts out there. Who you follow is who you become like. Who you follow is who you become like. So is your following intentional or is it accidental? For most of us, it's accidental because why? Because of this thing called dopamine. Who here has heard of dopamine? You're going to hear even more about it in the next talk, but it's a naturally occurring drug, obviously, hormone in your body that gives you a little rush. You know that when you feel a little bored, a little low, all you have to do is pick up your phone and go to social media and you get a little shot of dopamine, and that makes you feel better for how long? For 36 seconds. That's how dopamine works. That if you check your phone, you get this little relief, a little shot of dopamine that makes you feel better for 36 seconds. I just invite you to be aware of this because no one wants to be a slave. This is a battle for your mind. We also have distraction. This notion that I should ask the question, why am I pulling out my phone? Why am I looking at this? Is it because I'm trying to avoid the reality of life, or is it because I want to get more out of life? That's the big question I want to ask you to ask yourselves. Is it because I'm trying to avoid the reality of life, or is it because I want more out of life? If I were to ask you, not related to social media, who wants more out of life, who would say they would? Wants more out of life. Okay, so when I look at my phone, awesome, not a problem, keep doing it. But am I looking for a way out of life to be distracted from life, or am I looking for somewhere where I can get more life, get more information, or am I just trying to avoid people? How many people here want to be creative? If you're going to create, Cal Newport is a professor, I think he's at Georgetown. He has a book called Deep Work. Cal Newport says that when it comes to like the great people who've created incredible content, that's everyone from artists, musicians, people who work in technology field, people who are incredible architects, writers. All of them need this thing called deep work, which means work without distraction. How many of y'all have been studying, you've been working on something, and you say, oh, I'm just going to check my email. Just quick. Okay, I'm studying, but I'm just going to quick refresh Facebook and see what's going on. I'm just going to quick check my Instagram, check my Twitter. I know I need to focus right now, but I'm just going to check my text. Do you know that even a momentary distraction, for every momentary distraction, it takes at least 20 minutes to get back in the zone of deep work? I'm just going to check my phone, just cost you 20 minutes of deep work. And many of you said you want to be creators. You want to be people who create stuff. That means you're going to have intentional time where you're not distracted, but you have room for deep work. Because this is something I'm going to remind you of for the rest of this talk. Creativity requires boredom. We in our culture hate being bored. Growing up, whenever I tell my mom or my dad, like, oh, Mom, Dad, we're bored, my parents always had a very, very common response. Mom, we're bored. Dad, we're bored. They would look at us and say, things aren't boring. They'd say, we would say, this is boring. Going out to eat with you, this is boring. Going to the park, this is boring. Hanging out outside, this is boring. They would always say, things aren't boring, people are. So if you're bored, that means you're boring. Creativity requires boredom. And if you want to be a creative person, that means you have to fight against the temptation to be distracted all the time. I want you to be creators. That's what the whole point of social media is that you can actually create now, not merely be consumers, but be creators who not only make good content, but use this creation for great relationships instead of as a way to avoid relationships, as opposed to what the guru for ultra spiritual life says.
I love to go out and meet up with friends so we can all sit together looking down at our phones and message other friends who aren't there with us. I like my friends' online personas better than their in-person personas, so I don't associate with them in person anymore. And I can say with confidence, I have literally never held eye contact with anyone. I have 87 voicemails that I haven't checked. And I won't, because I'm appalled when people call me without texting me first to see if they can call me. It's so inconsiderate. Sorry for the interruption. I just thought the world was probably wanting an update about how my diarrhea is doing. Someone spiked my lunch with gluten yesterday.
I know you've seen this. Yeah, there's this artist, this photographer, who caught people in these poses of what we look like normally when we have our devices. But she just took out the devices. Think how this is like normal for us, right? To be in the room with someone, but everyone's on their own device. That here's a family at home. That's wonderful, but everyone's staring at their hands. Oh, that couple loves each other, but they're in completely different worlds. Even maybe right after you get married. Like this idea, of course, is that this is meant to connect us to each other, but oftentimes what happens is it disconnects us from each other. And so there's this man named Simon Sinek, and Simon Sinek says what he does with his friends is when they go and they're having, this is our friend time with each other, what they'll do, they make the decision. They say at the front door is a basket. We all take out our phones, we put our phones in the basket. If they go out with each other, they say, we're hanging out with each other. We don't need to be with other friends because we're with each other. So they'll leave all their phones at home except for one person's phone in case there's some kind of emergency. Because what is it saying? What's it saying when you're on your phone in the midst of your friends? What you're saying is, you're fine and everything, but I'd rather be with someone else. Even if you have your phone out on the table and you're not even looking at it or touching it. What it's saying is, this is great and everything, but I'm open for distraction. I'm open for having not permanent relationships. Think about, again, why we use social media. A lot of times we use social media to find fame or to find all these kind of things. There was a 75-year study on happiness. And they followed these men who were born like 1930-something, all the way to now, whatever 75 years ago was. These men, they followed them all the way to now, and they asked the question, like, what makes them happy? And there's some men of this group that are still alive right now, 75 years later. And the ones that reported after 75 years, now a lot of them, they're in their 90s now. And they come from the slums, they come from wealthy places. They never went to college, they went to the best colleges. In that group of people they studied, there was everyone from criminals to former presidents of the United States. And among those who in their 90s are the absolute happiest, they're happiest not because of success and not because of wealth, and they weren't happy because of their fame. The ones who were happiest were the ones who had committed, in-person, face-to-face friendships. No matter how much money they made, how many people knew their name, how successful they were, the people that were happiest in their 90s and in their 80s and in their 70s and in their 60s were not the ones who had online personas. They're the ones who had in-person relationships, in-person friendships that were deep and committed and face-to-face. So my invitation for all of us is this, is I can be in relationship with people through the internet. Awesome, wonderful. But that has to take back seat to whoever's right in front of you. whoever's right next to you. Because we're made for more than this.
Awkward. I love using one-word retorts instead of stringing together an actual sentence comprised of coherent thoughts. I also feel like they help show my huge depth of character. My dating life is on point. I have no problem getting the courage to ask a woman out on Tinder. And there's no question that the best way to create a deep, heartfelt connection with someone is to connect to their online dating profile while I'm hiding behind a keyboard.
This is going to be a battle for your mind, but also it's a battle for your time. So what I'm going to invite you to do is at the end of this talk, this is not the end yet. We have like a couple more slides. At the end of this talk, though, I'm prepping you because sometimes we need to prepare ourselves. Right now, we're in reception mode, right? We're hearing the thing, but it's one another thing to get up and move around. At the end of this talk, I'm going to invite you to do one thing. I'm going to invite you to get up, talk to someone you don't know, but here's my invitation. I want you to talk to someone you don't know who's not your age. Someone you don't know who's not your age. And I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to tell them a story about your trip here. Tell them one story about your trip here. So start thinking about this, right? So what we do and what we have a difficulty doing is talking to people who are not our age, who don't live in our world. This is why I warned you about this, right? So it's not like you have to panic right now. It's going to happen in 5 minutes. T-minus 4 minutes and 55 seconds. That you're going to get up and you're going to find someone who's you don't know, who's not your age, and tell them a story about your trip here. You're forewarned. This is also a battle for your time. It's coming to the end right now because we got to get this wrapped up. At the end of this day, you will have taken over 23,000 breaths. At the end of this day, you will have about 115,000 heartbeats. And St. Paul, writing to the Ephesians, he said this. He said, watch carefully how you live. Don't live as foolish people, but live as wise people. You only got, I can't remember, what is it? You only have 115,000 heartbeats today. You only have 23,000 breaths today. So St. Paul says, watch carefully how you live. Live as a wise person, not as a foolish person, making the most of the time, making the most of every opportunity that you've been given. A lot of times we don't make the most of the time. I love this quote from my friend Mark Hart. Mark says this, when I get, quote unquote, too busy to pray, I envision Jesus at the pearly gates showing me the time I wasted looking for something to watch on Netflix. When I'm too busy to pray, I think of all the, I imagine Jesus showing me, okay, Father Mike, this was your Netflix viewing history. I am too busy to pray. Okay, here's the rabbit hole you went down on YouTube. I'm too busy to pray this weekend. Okay, this is the entire series you watched this weekend. So what I invite my college students to do is if you have a habit of like binging on Netflix and you watch the same series over and over again, and it's a 21-minute episode, maybe it's a 30-minute episode, 21-minute episode you've seen 1,000 times, I invite you, that's now your new timer. Start the show, put it on mute, you have now 21 minutes to talk to Jesus. Because you would have just wasted it watching Friends again. You would have just wasted it watching The Office again. And so you might as well just say, okay, I've seen this episode 55 times. I know how it goes. Start. Now, Jesus, we're going to talk. Because we're called to this. We're called to redeem the time. I'm clicking the clicker, and it's not clicking. Click. There we go. Redeeming the time. Literally, y'all, we only get one life. We only get one life. And I can make the most of it, or I can simply be a consumer. But you and I are called to be bored because we're called to be creative. So help me out here. Next slide. Creativity requires boredom. Technology is going to help you. Next slide. Technology can help. Here's some apps that'll help you be creative. There's this app I use. I use all these apps. 3 apps I'm going to show you are all helpful. This is for Macs if you like to use Chrome. Stay Focused is an app where you can put a limit on how many minutes you spend on any kind of website. So what I do is I say, okay, 15 minutes tops, a whole day, 15 minutes on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's it. And after 15 minutes, 5 minutes ago, it warns me and says, you're gonna be shut down really quickly. So do what you need to do and get back to life. Stay focused. If you don't like stay focused, there's this awesome app I just recently discovered, put it on my computer 2 weeks ago, called Freedom. Freedom it's amazing. I love it so much because it does the same thing, but it does it across all platforms. It does it on my devices. It does it on my phone, on my tablet, on everything. And I say, okay, I want to be free from distraction from this time until this time. So I try to go to Instagram, and it tells me, oh, congratulations, you are free from Instagram. Go back to life. Stay focused, freedom, and one I love so much. Matt's going to talk about it in the next talk. Covenant Eyes, super helpful for so many people. Tech is awesome. It can help you use tech to actually be amazing. Because that's what we want. We want you to have an incredible life. We want you to have a creative kind of life, and creativity requires boredom. Last thing. We know who these two people are. Who are they? Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. These people have influenced this world more than many people in the last couple decades. They've transformed your life and my life more than almost anyone else in the last couple decades. And you say, well, yeah, these guys are all about tech. These guys are all about social media. These guys are all about this technology that can expand and create things. Yes, I would say this, though. The one thing that's true about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates is this. These men are creators, not consumers. These men made a difference. Why? Because they were creators, not consumers. Do you know that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, when Steve Jobs was alive, they said that their children were not allowed to have iPhones or tablets or any access to social media. The guy who invented the stuff is saying, my children don't have iPhones. My children don't have tablets. Why? Because these men wanted their children to be creators, not consumers. My invitation for all y'all is, great, not dual identity, right? Be the same person in person as you are online. But above everything else, please, you guys, be creators, not consumers. Because you only have one life, and we need to redeem the time. So, 2 assignments for y'all. Before the end of this week, I invite you, if you have your phone on you, make some kind of video about what this weekend has meant to you and put it out there. Knowing that people are mean online. Last weekend we had a girl do this. She tweeted something out, like, God is awesome. The first response was, God's not real. You're imagining things. Someone else says, like, Jesus loves me so much. Someone responded to his tweet and said, like, are you drunk? I invite you to create something. Create something that will lead people and raise their minds to Jesus. You guys, hashtag elevate social media, hashtag redeem the time. This is your time for your assignment. I invite you to take the next 1 minute and 30 seconds. Get up, meet someone new, not your age, and tell them a story about yourself. Thank you guys for coming here tonight.